Swati, everybody. I'm back again with a guest here, Alexander Bourne in Pacific Cross, regarding insurance here in Thailand for expats. So this question regarding is a big one I get all the time, Alexander, is
imagine.
pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
So this example about say, oh, my knee, arthritis or something. Any pre-existing conditions, I should say. I had a nice start, everybody, but I'm keep that on camera for you guys. What are the requirements as far as Pacific Cross? Would it be able to help if I have pre-existing condition or case-by-case basis?
Yeah, so generally speaking, any pre-existing condition is not going to be covered, right? Just as a baseline, especially like a painful knee or some kind of issue. There is a good example. Just because if you have it, so it is going to be excluded for any kind of chronic condition, right? Any kind of monitoring, etc. However, if you have an accident, let's say on a bike, and you hurt your knee, that would still be covered.
Okay,
right?
that'd be covered.
Yeah, even if you have like the knee that's already, maybe a bit weaker, a bit more prone to injury, just because it occurred from an accident, that would still be covered.
Okay.
Right. Another really common pre-existing condition that I think should be brought up is any kind of hypertension,
blood pressure.
Blood pressure, hyperlipidemia, etc. So these kinds of conditions, they would be excluded.
Okay.
But what would specifically be excluded is the medication, any kind of doctor consultation, any monitoring of these
for drug prescriptions.
Yeah, exactly. Of these conditions, that would not be covered if you already had that, right? However, importantly, cardiac conditions, heart attack, stroke, etc., that would still be covered under the policy.
Oh, that still be covered. Okay,
yeah,
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Realistically, only unless you have a history of cardiac conditions.
Okay.
That is what's going to be that is what would lead to a cardiac exclusion. Right?
Conclusion.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's very important to mention, right? Just because, anything related to the heart, that's going to be very expensive to treat, right? Okay. So it's important just to understand, what is going to be covered
up front, so you know.
Yeah, and exactly like what cost you would have to handle yourself, right?
Okay.
So overall, I would say, it's always just worth reaching out, maybe even submitting an application, just so you have a very clear understanding, right, of what isn't covered, and that's what I'm going to be there for, right? Just to help guide you through that, and so you have an understanding for what exactly your options are.
Well, thank you so much. It's good to have options, everybody. That's why you have the representative here, Alexander Bourne, here in Thailand, Bangkok, Pacific Cross, regarding what's your options, and just reach out. Again, fill a quote on the webpage there we have as gets, and our TikTok page, and that way you get an understanding. Also, just call or contact if you have even more in-depth questions regarding pre-existing conditions. So thank you so much for that. And we're going to go to the next few more questions, everybody. And we're going to wrap it up. I'm getting hungry. Cock.